Take me home, George uncle. Please don't leave me here. The last 3 days were the happiest days of my life. My parents died and I'm living with my grandmother who is mentally unwell. Even this morning, she threw a sickle at me and look, my head is bleeding. Please, uncle, take me home.
These were the words of a small tiny girl, 8-year-old from Gypsy community who had attended 3 days program conducted by my husband George Ebenezer. The words of this child, "Take me home, uncle, take me home," kept ringing in his ears, and it broke his heart. And then, few months later, he visited a refugee camp and he saw there so much broken children whose parents were brutally beaten up for their faith, and many were killed. And children were so afraid. You could see the fear in their eyes. They were just lying down on the mud under the winter sun. They had nowhere to go. They were afraid because their families were no more. Both this incident changed our life ups and down, and we thought, what should we do for these children? And 2009 we started an orphanage where we wanted to give these children a high quality care, and 3 kids arrived at our location, our house, and then went on adding the children. And then we thought this home should be, because it is given a proper care, good education, so we have to give a name with the meaning, Santhosa Samsara. Then came a joyful family. As the years went by, children were added. Then we realized children don't need institute, but they need a family. And George and me, we decided to take them into the family and raise them up as our kids.
To have a thin line between an institution and a family, to have a foster care, to really help the children. And we have done it for the last 5 years. We've had our own learnings, we have had our own success. So what we are looking now is, we believe that this is the time for us to expand. What are we thinking of? We are thinking of setting family units like this across India.
One of the children who came in grew up on the streets. She and her 2 siblings were locked in a room for 3 days, where their mother burned herself alive. They watched their mother die and remained in the room until their neighbors came in and rescued them. As a result of this traumatic event, this 7-year-old girl had several behavioral issues. Despite the loving care and intervention by her caregivers, she found it very difficult to receive love. George and Manju understood that this girl needed to be with her siblings to heal from her emotional and psychological wounds. After tracking her siblings, they sent this child to grow up with them. She's doing much better now. However, George and Manju, who never gave up on a child, felt disheartened as it seemed that they had failed in their vision.
By God's grace, as George traveled to different places, he could meet with prominent psychologists and experts in the field of trauma care. George and Manju were then trained at Texas Christian University to be trust-based relational intervention (TBRI) practitioners. This unique approach proved to be very effective in working with children from difficult backgrounds. They were eager to care for more children who experienced trauma due to adverse childhood experiences. Soon, a team of trainers from Santhosa Samsara who were trained in trauma-informed care reached out to pastors, leaders, NGOs, teachers, parents, and others who work with children. The response was immense as caregivers saw the change in children's behavior.
Hello everyone, I'm Merlin and I'm a physiotherapist by profession. I certainly deal with specifically the pediatric section in physiotherapy, and this has been my life for the past 14 years.
My name is Sarnishta. I'm a pastor's wife, I'm a counselor, I'm a graphics designer, adoptive mom for a 9-year-old boy who has a severe disabilities.
I'm Radha Nagesh. I am a volunteer with Karnataka State Council for Child Welfare. I'm also a counselor with Viveka Center for Emotional Support.
How I could emotionally connect with the child and empower them before I correct them, be it their behavior or their thought process. And it was just the exact efficient add-on, I should say, to what I was doing so far.
One of the main learnings I had was that in order for you to help a traumatized child, you need to come in touch with your own traumatic past. Because unless you receive that healing, there's no way you can be an object or a channel of healing to a child who's struggling with it.
Children who are hard to place and children who come from hard places, really, the caregivers need to understand what they go through and how to handle them as caregivers.
From the year 2010, we started Project Precious. Every year, in December, we bless underprivileged children by giving them school supplies and carefully selected gifts. Last December, we visited children staying in refugee camps in Manipur and gave them school bags, blankets, stationeries, and toys. Upon receiving these gifts, it's heartwarming to witness the joy and excitement on their faces.
A growing awareness of a range of issues that plague children today led to an expansion of the vision of Santhosa Samsara. In 2012, the vision of the Ark germinated with the goal of seeing the next generation anchored and living a fruitful life. The Ark is intended to be a safe haven for children and teenagers who struggle with emotional trauma. It initially began with the name Talita Kum and later changed to Child Healing Center. George has since visited various trauma care centers all over the world and envisioned building India's first trauma care center, which would be child-friendly and child-centered.
For the last several years, through the Child Healing Center, we have been conducting an annual camp for children from hard places called Camp Precious. It is a unique and amazing camp module by For the Children, where every child has an adult by their side for 4 days and 3 nights. The camp is filled with games and activities which are backed by scientific evidence. Every child's birthday is celebrated with gifts given to each child, helping them realize they are precious.
Blessing, and I'm very happy to be with all these kids. I was a nurture for the first time, going back very fulfilled and enriched. This has changed my life.
Unconditional love. I saw unconditional love here, the way they were pampering the children.
The last 3 days were like one of the best moments of my life.
We regularly visit various childcare institutes in Bangalore every month. Each visit is an opportunity to connect with every child, bringing them joy and enabling them to create sweet memories. Additionally, our team provides invaluable training sessions for parents, teachers, and caregivers to equip them with the skills needed to better support and understand the children under their care. We also offer one-to-one counseling sessions to children, ensuring that they receive the emotional support they need and learn effective coping mechanisms. The Camp Precious initiative is a special highlight where we bring together children from different homes, creating unique and cherished experiences. We also organize camps for diverse groups of children from various parts of the country, And once a year, we raise funds to bless and support children from difficult communities and ethnic groups.
Years ago, a couple came to Santhosa Samsara with physical disabilities. They had lost all hope and were struggling to care for their children. Since they had heard about Santhosa Samsara, they decided to bring their children here. To avoid separating the children from their parents, George and Manju counseled the couple and expressed their willingness to help them take care of their education instead. This is how the sponsorship program began, to ensure that underprivileged children are supported to complete their education. One time, almost 9 lakhs were raised to save a school from closing down due to financial constraints. Since its inception, we have helped many children to complete their schooling by paying a part of their fees. This year, our goal is to sponsor at least 52 children. You have the power to impact a child's life by partnering with us to ensure that each child grows up to be a socially responsible citizen. Life has been a tremendous struggle ever since I lost my husband a year ago. What added to our burdens is the passing of my father. Since now there is no one in the family to support us, I had started working as a maid. The 6,000 rupees that I earn each month is hardly enough to cover our expenses, especially my son's education. Santhosa Samsara stepping in to help us has now allowed my son to continue his studies. I can't say how grateful we are to this organization and our sponsor. My son loves going to school and it would break my heart if he had to stop. Each day we pray for our sponsor because we know they are God sent. I constantly remind my son how someday when he grows up, he needs to help others too.
The organization works with the vision of 3 C's. 1. Conviction, which means believing it is possible to completely heal and restore a child or a teenager who has gone through abuse. 2. Compassion, which means believing in reaching out to a child or a teenager with selfless, undying love. And 3. Commitment, of never giving up or backing out on the life of any child or a teenager. Our mission for the next generation is rooted again in 3 things. 1 is to have a genuine, authentic, heart-to-heart connection. In other words, a deep connection. Number 2, in providing sensitive care, a deep comfort. Number 3, in providing help that is wholesome, deep change. We are working with a future vision of having a large campus, a discipleship center, which would intervene in the lives of kids and teens coming from hard places through intervention camps. Moving forward, our main focus will be to provide support and training for parents, teachers, caregivers, and anyone working with children. We aim to ensure these individuals are well equipped with the skills. We are looking forward to addressing a wide range of issues. We also aim to connect with more child care institutes. Additionally, we will offer various types of therapy to help children deal with emotional trauma, including art therapy, music therapy, and play therapy. We will also be expanding our counseling methods, providing more comprehensive support to children in need. Our focus is to help children who are struggling to cope with their emotional trauma and to provide them with the necessary tools to thrive well in life. We are striving to work together as a team to ensure we support children in the best possible way. The organization envisions continuing to work for the restoration and redemption in the lives of precious children across our nation and beyond. It is a privilege, at the same time, an enormous burden to remain true to the calling and the vision that has been laid in the heart of our founder.